It's around 400 kilometers away from Shanghai. Takes around 4.5 hours to get there by train. And it's a nice coastal city situated in the southeastern area of Zhejiang. Now when I say coastal city, you're thinking, hold on, what am I doing here right in the middle of the mountain range? Well, look behind me. You see this mountain? It shoots right out of the ground and then right straight across, kind of like a table, which is similar to Table Mountain all the way out in South Africa, which is also on the coastline. So I'm traveling pretty light, so let's see how this weekend goes in Wenling. Fengshan is around 27 kilometers from downtown Wenling. I'm here not only for the epic views, but also because the wet weather gives this mountain a whole new look. And what's more, you can even take a bit of this mountain back with you in a teapot. Hi, 你好，你好。
怎么样？在房山，我们房山的茶跟其他地方茶有什么不同？
这个是绿茶，是不是？
是绿茶，是我们房山的云雾茶，是温岭，也是我们温岭特有的一种名茶。
哦，就在这个山顶。
它就生长在我们这个房山顶上，因为这个茶呢，基本上处于是野生状态。这样。山高，整天云雾缭绕，空气非常非常清新。
所以
没有什么工业的污染，产出来的茶已经是好茶。
Actually, the flavor is so wild, it's unbelievable. You can feel the bitterness in here, and also you get a sense that this place, right? It's a coastal area, but a lot of the famous teas, they all come from these inland areas, the mountain ranges. But this is very close to the sea, so I feel like some geological impact is making this tea kind of unique. So you've definitely got to come here and try it yourself. Beautiful taste. Tasting the unique flavour of Yunwu tea gives my mind and body a boost to keep climbing to the tabletop summit. And with the sun peeking through the thick clouds, I get the feeling that the city of Wenling is ready to be explored. Now, while Fengshan Mountain is certainly the most well-known landmark, if you want to get a feel of the coast, you've got to come down to the Shitao. It's home to all these people that live on the sea. But what I'm going to see first is a guy whose life is all about boats. Before we check out Mr. Chen's boats, we need to know a little bit more about the quaint town of Shitang first. Everything I see here has a close link to the sea. And it is this seaside lifestyle that Mr. Chen likes to portray in his works.
你好。这个模型叫做长嘴模型，这个是表现渔民聊棚了。那这个海上人家了，
海上就可以做的，对吧？
对。
So realistic and so detailed. Mr. Chen's scale models have recreated the entire village of Shitang in a miniature world. But when Mr. Chen really gets focused at his workbench, it's almost certain that he is again working on his favourite type of model, boats.
这个是属于50年代到60年代，
浙江的一个吊船。
对。这个船上绳索锁具都是仿真的。
哇，这么仿真，那我们人够少，我们可以用这个去捕鱼去了啊。
现在像这种古船是看不到的，现在海上基本上像这种贴地船。哇。So it seems that this guy is not just about boats, but also about preserving culture, lifestyle, and what it was like back in the time to live. And also today, you can see through these models what it's like to live in Shitang Wenling. So after seeing so many scaled models, many little ones, it's great to see these big boys in action, on the water and ready to fish. But seeing the size of these guys, it makes me feel that the catch is going to be pretty substantial. So I'm going to try my luck to see if I can reel one in myself. Let's go. In Shitang, most of the people here live off the sea or even on it. So there's never a short supply of veteran fishermen that will let you tag along for an open sea fishing adventure. But don't think that you can get away with freeloading.
We've been pulling around 20 to 30 meters of line, nothing.
But no matter how experienced you are, there is one rule that applies to everyone. Patience is a virtue.
Oh, we got something! We got a fish! 这是不是鲈鱼啊？啊，对对。Oh, not bad. We got one fish. That's better. There we go. He's still flipping. Sorry, mate. We had to pull you away from your friends.
It wasn't long before we started reeling in some common dinner table marine life. But if you want to try your hand at catching something different, you've got to venture out further.
Now, 现在我们要去哪里啊？因为这里好像成功率不是很大。
到港外去，港内没有这么敞亮。
那好，我们看看我们的运气啊。Seems like the captain's right. We've got to get out here and then we've got a success. Now look at this, they call this the 比目鱼. The amazing thing about this fish is its eyes are actually on the top of its head. I don't think it would attract many of the female fish. Definitely would attract the hot pot though.
很好吃的，这个肉很鲜美的，
很鲜美的，哇，
特别的好吃。
是吗？
With enough catch in our nets for a decent meal, I couldn't wait to turn all of this into an extravagant seafood fest. Luckily, Mr. Guo is not only a skillful captain, but he is also an expert on sending out tantalizing seafood dishes from his own kitchen. But I've got my eyes set on the best catch of the day, the bimuyu, otherwise known as the flatfish.
金爪子这条，这是很稀少的，基本上都在酒店宾馆里用的。我们叫塔鱼啊，
塔鱼，塔鱼这是本地的说法。
本地人说法。
那你们本地人一般是怎么处理的？
本地人我们一般都加烧，加烧就是红烧的意思啊。一般酒店里面都清蒸葱油。
All right, finally now is the sweet part of the journey. 好。 We got 3 very shallow slices in the fish. A few layers of ginger slices. A touch of rice wine with a bit of salt. We can whack it into the pot and let's get some braised fish going. Juicy, full of flavour, fantastic. But the amazing thing is that this was caught just around half an hour ago, so you can't get fresher than this. We caught it, we cooked it.
But before you go, you gotta be in the know. There are 13 bullet trains going every day from Shanghai to Wenling, and it takes around 4.5 hours to get there. Fengshan takes around 40 minutes by car from downtown Wenling and is open from 8 AM to 4:30 PM. Tickets cost 40 yuan per person. In the summer season, you should definitely try your luck at net fishing in Shitang Harbour, which is quite close to Shanghai. Shitang is possibly the closest place to Shanghai where you can get fresh seafood of almost every kind throughout the year, with each season offering its own unique forms of marine life. If you're a fan of scale models or simply want to check out Mr. Chen's miniature world, his workshop can be found on Shangruo Road in Shitang Village. I'm not finished with Shitang yet. There's one peculiar seaside custom that you really can't miss. 我刚刚发现了，我一闭眼睛就化妆了，哎，跟你一样啊。
哎，
为什么要化成这样的？
这是我们东地大族族的特色，就是说要男扮女装嘛。我们男人大老爷们化妆成一个小姑娘的样子，哎，老太婆的样子。
那有很多女人，为什么我们也要扮的呀？为了自己好玩吗？还是
不是就为了庆祝我们愉悦丰收吗？那个大丰收啊，那个亲人啊，满载而归啊，平安回来呀。
那他们会就是看到他们的兄弟啊化成这样的，他们觉得很好玩，
哎，很开心啊。本来打鱼就是很辛苦的嘛，然后回来的时候，哎，看到他们这样化妆起来，
他发现是哪人？然后觉得，哎呦，这个很搞笑。
对，就这个意思的。
那只有男人可以跳吗？
对啊，只有男人就可以跳。
哦，所以没办法，如果他们要看女人，那男的要换成女的。
对，哎，就这样子的。
Dazogu. If you ever get to see it or even join in, you might feel a bit awkward, playing the clown, sacrificing your image to entertain others. But as Mr. Wu said, deep-sea fishing needs courage and determination. And to the people waiting on the shore, a safe return deserves any sort of celebration to make the trip worthwhile. So the fishermen and the dancing men are both well respected. When morning breaks, I'm out to hunt for the perfect breakfast to keep me going as I venture deeper into the city. Most people are familiar with the good quality sticky rice cake or niangao that comes from the southern part of Zhejiang province. But in Wenling, it's for sure my first time to try sticky rice stuffed with all kinds of meat and veggies. But if you think niangao is the only thing I'm going to taste in this town, you're way off.
Hey, 师傅你好，这是什么东西啊？
地上都是香瓜。
哎，可以去看一下吗？
可以啊。
就像这个有点裂开的感觉，就说明它已经迫不及待要被吃了。
可以吃。
Look closely at these lines, guys. You can see it's quite discreet, so subtle, but very key. So next time you go to the supermarket, don't worry about squeezing it or looking at the different color. You just go in and look at these different lines, because that's the secret to knowing whether it's edible or not edible. Ooh. Like a knife through butter. And there we go. Wow. Wow, that is the juiciest I've ever had.
甜不甜？
真的是非常的甜。They've just put sugar right on the top. Beautiful.
比糖还要甜的。
He's so right, guys. While I haven't really had much sweet melon before, the honey-like taste is extremely addictive, and you'll find yourself wanting more and more. But don't get hung up on this. There's even more on offer.
草莓过了以后就是香瓜，香瓜以后葡萄、梨
都有啊。哇，
我西瓜还有1个月可以品尝了，你们过来。
哎，好。Looks like there's a lot of good fruit coming up in the next few months, so since Shanghai is quite close to Wenling, I'll be up here for another weekend for sure. If you want to indulge in endless sweets without giving yourself a heart attack, you can come here to Laowu Nongzhuang, which is 28 kilometers from downtown Wenling. A wonderful choice for the whole family and perfect for a weekend retreat. But before you go, you got to be in the know.
As an intangible heritage, Dazhou dancing can be seen by travellers to Shitang village during major holidays. This local Niangao breakfast is easy to find on the streets of Wenling, and the price varies depending on your choice of filling. At the Laowu Orchard, visitors can not only taste different kinds of fresh fruits, but can join in on harvesting them as well. Now that you know that the key to picking a good sweet melon is to check the patterns on the skin, try it out next time at your local market. The night views here are also worth staying up for. Make sure you check out Donghui Park for some gorgeous views of the city. For seasoned travellers, walking through caves like this might not seem different from most other caves around China. But if you know the secret behind the caves here in Chengyu Dongtian, this is a place you cannot miss, with 1,314 different caves and many even housing ancient stone sculptures. But here, it wasn't the power of nature that made these caves, it was... Right. Seems like the director doesn't want to reveal the secret just yet. Throughout this trip, you might have noticed that Wenling is an ideal place for hiking. And when you think hiking, the first thing that comes to mind is shoes. I say this because Wenling is also one of the largest exporters of shoes in China. And being a regular hiker myself, I couldn't help but cure my curiosity.
以前测过没有？
从来没有，
从来没有。
不好意思，
这个其实跟开车道理是一样的啊。
那这个我没有这个证可以开吧？
可以。
哦，那好，那好了。
可以，油门往下面踩，它就走了啊。
Oh, I can feel the motor rumbling. It's raring to go. Shall we? Start your engines and... Oh! Okay, I've officially gone off the track. I've made a crash, and the cops will be here soon to arrest me. Every step is much more complicated than expected, with each little progression bringing a piece of leather closer to the image of a shoe. So here's a big thanks to all those workers that work around the clock to put a few inches of comfort between us and the rough ground. We really need you.
Okay, camera's rolling and action.
After witnessing the amazing feats that can be achieved by a pair of human hands, it's now time to unveil the secret behind another group of people who together have managed to pull off an extraordinary feat of turning bedrock into a work of art under the guise of Mother Nature. There are thousands of caves just like this one around this area. Now, I've been to a lot of caves in my life, but this one sets itself by far apart from the rest because all of these caves are completely hand-carved. Shifu, 你好。
你好。
哎，你好，你好，你好。其实从这个角度往下看，已经很高的哦。你有没有恐高的感觉？
我开始没有。
哇，那你做了多久啊？这个工作？
我做了34年了。
这个地方超级大，我知道是1500年前开始做的啊。他们怎么把这些石头打下来？
他们用榔头在石头打下来。然后变这样子，对吧？一块一块石头。
哦，从上面到下面。
对。
That explains all the holes on the side of the rock. 你现在是怎么弄下来？
我现在跟以前一样，一天花7、8个小时，厚度7、8公分，10几公分。
怪不得1500年。Over 1500 years ago, they would be used as a quarry to excavate stones and rocks for use in construction. Nowadays, they've realized the beauty of these man-made caves and preserve them in immaculate condition. At the beginning of this journey, I said I was looking for a nice weekend trip, and what I found was landscapes full of natural wonders and man-made spectacles, people with tough hands and detailed minds, and food that couldn't have hit the spot any better. All of these elements make Wenling an ideal place for any kind of traveller. So get up, get out and get travelling.